These are, this property will consist of, 24 one-bedroom units and 16 two-bedroom units. And they are independent living. They're not assisted living, nursing home, any of that type. You have to be, able to take care of yourself and to live there. So it's not assisted living. It's just independent apartment living, but all under one unit. And I also had the layout, if you were interested in seeing. This is, this is where it comes in off of West Becker, and we'll extend that street into here, and then the building will be in this sort of a Z shape. So all of the units are included under there. It will have a drive-through, a front drive-through portico, so that for pickup and drop off of tenants or anything.
And ingress egress is proposed to have been on
Okay, it comes off of West Becker, where the pavement ends at West Becker. Ingress and egress will be designed here. The street will be extended, and then our street goes into the development of parking out front, and then the building. It is behind the it's that wooded line. There are apartments that adjoin, as well as some single family in that same neighborhood.
That does not show my question, but will a road be for access to Georgia Avenue? Because it's going to back up to Georgia Avenue.
Well, this is not that entire tract. This is only 5 acres out of that tract. So it could possibly be at some other time, but we would not go all the way over to Georgia. The owner retains the remainder of the land, and if he chooses to develop the rest of it, then, that could be a possibility.
And this is what it will look like.
This is what it will look like. It may be a different shape or configuration. I don't recall how that one actually is, but this is the shape of the building, and basically it's a 2-story building that would look very similar to that.
In your proposal, you mentioned that it could be as big as 73.
Let me go back to that. It could be, as far as that zoning classification would allow 73, but our proposal is for 40. And we've already put that application in, and we cannot increase it and have no intention to. We know that that 40 unit will fill, a part of the need here. And it's more than a $5 million development.
Well, if you don't mind, would you go back on the financial level again?
Okay. The area median income is a number that HUD produces based on their statistics. So the area median here in Halifax County is $41,900. The tenants who live there can make no more than 60% of the area median. So,
All right, who oversees this?
who oversees it?
HUD or?
No, ma'am, it's not a HUD project. We have an independent professional management firm who comes in for us that we pay from the project that is the management agent.
Excuse me, are they housed there, or do they just come in?
Not necessarily. I mean, a person who would qualify to live there, if they wanted to be a manager and the company hired them to be a manager, they could live there. But we don't have normally a live-on-site manager. They have normal office hours and, they're on-site, but not necessarily live on-site.
So if there was an emergency, it would be handled just like any other emergency?
Well, it would be, but our manager, we have a maintenance caretaker, we have a manager who takes care of the properties. If there were an emergency, somebody would call 911 and the police would come, and that person, they would call the manager too, so it would be handled just, yes, like you say, any other emergency.
You did make a comment, and I wanted to just ask maybe Mr. Holland, if it would be, whoever should answer this. You said this would be pending funding was very competitive.
Correct.
I mean, and so if the council votes to rezone this piece of property, and you do not receive your funding, that wouldn't have any impact on what we're doing tonight. It would still be rezoned, and someone else could come and develop any type of multifamily housing if it was approved by the city.
Yes, sir.
Is that a question that
That,
you could
that,
speak
that
to?
is right on target. That's absolutely correct. And, Councilman Bob had asked about the number of units and the maximum. I agree, the maximum allowed under the proposed zoning would be 73 units. So if something happened to the financing for this proposed project and it did not come to pass, there could be 73 units on that property because you need to, any rezoning needs to be done in consideration of the full range of what can happen in that proposed zoning district. We have no reason to doubt that these folks won't follow through with this, and the staff has recommended that this rezoning be approved. But it is possible that this doesn't come to pass, something else at full density could occur on the property.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does anyone have any more questions?
Well, if we approve this tonight as is, and something happens, they can go back without coming before council and put in 73 units?
They would not have to come back before
I thought
council.
so, they wouldn't have to come out, they just go ahead and go over with the new plans
They'd
and
have to
build
get a
73
site
units.
plan approved, but there's someone else, it would not necessarily have to be these folks, someone else could come in with 73 units. You cannot rezone contractually based on precisely what these folks saying they're going to do. They need the rezoning to do what they want to do, but if they do not implement the project, then you could end up with 73 units.
In other words, their fate depends on somebody else.
Somebody else could do it. Yes, sir.
I can say that our company is a rural developer. We like rural towns. I'm a country girl and I work hard for rural towns. The largest development we have even built is a 48-unit development. So it's not our practice, but I cannot speak to what some other developer might do if our funding does not come through. Certainly hoping that it does, but I don't have a guarantee for that tonight. But I certainly don't have even a chance if we don't get the rezoning. When I go in June 8th with this next application, the zoning has to be in place or we won't even be considered. So that's my dilemma. So I understand yours as well, but.
I guess I want to ask one question from a financial standpoint. This would be, a piece of property that would belong to Weaver Kirkland. So it would be
A partnership that we,
taxable piece of
that is
property.
correct. We are not a nonprofit group. We do form a limited partnership. We have investors. The credits are sold to investors, but our company stays in the deal and we have to keep it affordable for 30 years minimum. So, I mean, it's just, this is what we do. We develop affordable housing.
Mayor,
Sure.
I think Councilman Bob had kind of touched on a question that he's not comfortable with, and that is, if the council votes to approve this, that is to rezone it to R3, which is, as Mr. Holland has said, is consistent with that area, there's another R3 butting right up to it. You can't do it conditionally upon these people getting their funding and putting this particular project there. You can't do that. But if they do not follow through with, for whatever reason, if another group comes in and puts some that it doesn't look like this, they still have to come back and get that approved through the planning and through the council. So you do have that safety switch that. So you can't just, you see this tonight, and you don't know what may really go that. You do have approval of that.
So, but let me ask this question, follow up on that. If this is approved, if we do approve this, and this does not go through, then somebody could come in and build a 75-unit or whatever, or would we have to approve that?
They could come in and submit a proposal that would be consistent with an R3 for this size property. Now, if they want to put whatever type of structure they want to put there, then they have to submit those plans for approval. Just like you were approving a building for a church or anything else and that type of thing.
Is that a conditional use? Is that what that is?
No. But it's, if they want to build, they have to submit the plans for the building and for the structures and to the city for their approval.
About this
that was my reason for wanting to share with you the photos and the, the board here, just to show you what quality that our company does. Have a book full if you wanna look at the whole book, but this one was just one that was similar, a prototype for the development we're planning for here.
How many projects have y'all started or planned and weren't able to get the financing and then someone else bought it or took over and put houses or put apartments in?
I don't know that I have a way to know that, but I can't think of one that anybody, other developer of our type has come in behind. I can't imagine that anybody would come here and put in 73 units of new construction, market rate, or even affordable with the market. I mean, it's a good market, if there is a need here, but, the number that we chose is based on the demand. There's over 200 units demand in our market study, and we chose 40. That's a safe number for us to feel like we can rent up and have a successful project here. I can't imagine, I wouldn't do 73 units here. I wouldn't even come here with a family development. I just felt like the need was greater for the seniors.
Does anybody have any more
I mean,
questions?
that's no slam on you, I'm just saying, we have to look at all of those, at that from every angle as far as marketability and being able to rent the units and keep them rented.
I have one question. Sure. Is that income, the total of income of everybody that's living in like a two-bedroom?
That's right, that would be total.
It's the same for
That
the
would-
one-bedroom or for the two-bedroom, is it by unit?
Well, it's based on, I don't understand your question.
Okay, well, I figured that it's probably around 25,000 for a person, and so if you had a married couple.
Well, then it would adjust. It would adjust for the number of people in the family.
I mean, could it be a total of like 50,000 for a couple?
No, it could never be 50,000. I can't even explain to you how, I didn't bring that information with me, but it does adjust for family size, but it would never be up to 50,000.
So
That would be more
does not
than,
become the six.
well, 41.6 is the area median. So
Right.
it can never be more than 60% of $41,600 total, whoever lives in the family, one or two people.
That's my question. So
Right.
the $25,000 would be the limit.
That probably is somewhere around it, yes. But there are many, many seniors who have SSI and, very small incomes that would qualify to live here. And it's seniors only, the ages 55 and older, so it's, there are no children, no young families or anything like that. The only exception would be if a person is certified handicapped and they have to be 45 years of age or older. So there's never any chance of, a house full of children or a bunch of kids running through the neighborhoods or whatever. Which I love kids. 9 grandchildren, so that doesn't bother me. But you know what I'm saying, it's just, some seniors get
I have
concerned
a
about that.
question, Mayor. I don't have a question, Ms. Long, thank you. I do have a question for Mr. Holland, putting you at a disadvantage. Thank you. Maybe Kelly, in relation to, property owners, have we had any comment, those that's within 100 feet of the property? And that's maybe a disadvantage to you, I would think, but.
No, sir, it's not. We had actually, if you'll bear with me 1 second. Yeah, we had, one person who had contacted the planning department who had, expressed opposition, and 2 people who inquired and did not oppose the rezoning. No one, spoke against it at the planning board.
Okay. At this time, I would move to consider a motion to adopt a statement. First, I need to close the public hearing. At this time, if there's no one else who wishes to come forward and speak, I would move that the public hearing be closed. Public hearing is closed. I would move to consider a motion to adopt a statement of consistency. A motion and a second. Any more discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, no. The And also move to consider a motion to approve the rezoning request.
So moved, Mayor.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any more discussion on the matter? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, nay. That motion will also be carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a third, public hearing tonight, which will be to consider a rezoning request from Mr. Carl Pitter to rezone a parcel of land, located at 1507 Patsy Auburn Street. Again, I refer to Mr. Holland.
Again, at the April meeting, the planning board considered the request from Mr. Carl Pitter to rezone his parcel of property, which is .17 acres of land located at 1507 Albritton Street. The request is to rezone the parcel of property from B3 to R6. Albritton Street is a residentially used street. All of the parcels fronting on the block of Albritton Street on which Mr. Pitter's property is located are residentially developed and used, single-family residences. Mr. Pitter's property is to the rear of and adjacent to commercial property. So his property is in a B3 zone and abuts either B4 zoning or B3 zoning. So he is completely surrounded by commercial zoning. The planning board reviewed the request for consistency with the comprehensive plan, and there's actually nothing in the comprehensive plan that addresses this request, because this request is a bit unusual since the request is to rezone a residentially used piece of property from commercial to residential on a street that's entirely residentially used but is zoned commercial. So it simply isn't anything that clearly addresses this. But what was quite clear to the planning board is a concern, and I believe a correct assessment, that this rezoning, if passed, would constitute spot zoning, because we would have a single parcel of residentially zoned property completely surrounded by commercially zoned property without any justification or reason for that singular rezoning to occur or exist. And therefore, the planning board voted that the proposed request was not consistent with the comprehensive plan. And secondly, following that determination, passed a motion to recommend that the city council deny the request for rezoning. And Mayor, it would be, I think, appropriate to open the public hearing.
Okay, at this time, I would again open the public hearing for those who may wish to come forward and speak on this matter. If no one wishes to speak, I will declare the public hearing be closed at this time. I would then move to consider a motion to adopt a statement of consistency.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion that this is inconsistent, or adopting statement of consistency would be that it is inconsistent with what is already in place there. I would like to make that motion.
Does everybody understand the motion? All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion on the matter? If not, we call for, all those in favor to signify by saying aye. And all opposed, no. Item 2 will be carried. We will move on to item 3 to consider a motion to deny the rezoning request.
Yeah, if I may, I do have a question. Even though we're looking at this as inconsistent, there are no other, if it is zoned one way, and there are no other homes abutting where he's trying to get, what he's trying to get done, is that correct? And that's to the plan.
His property is used for single-family residential purposes. The properties to the south of him and across the street from him on Albritton Street are all developed, used for single-family residential purpose, but they're all zoned B3. They're all commercially zoned. And two residents, I believe there were two at the planning board meeting, who lived on Albright Street, who appeared at the planning board meeting, spoke in opposition to the request for rezoning. I have no explanation for why that street was rezoned from R6, which was the zoning some years ago, to B3. But nonetheless, it is now B3. B3 is a residential district, or it is a commercial district, beg your pardon, that allows a mixture of commercial and single-family residential. It's a bit of an oddity for a commercial district, but that's how the district is written. The B4 district, or B3 district that he's currently in is purely a commercial district.
Which makes it really a pickle, because it seems like the other properties should be in R6 anyway, rather than B3.
They were originally, and I don't know why they were changed from an R6 to a B3, but they were, and they are now B3, which is, again, an oddity of a commercial district, because it allows a mixture of single-family residential and
And these homes in the
commercial.
these homes in the 212, and I can't see this, my eyes are kind of, sorry. The ones in orange, and we have a map of orange, all those in orange are residential R6, is that correct? I mean, they'll zone B2, but they're actual, physically R6 homes, they're homes.
Well, they're homes, they were in an R6 district, but they're now in a.
So this petitioner is trying to zone it to an R6, which it, to me, it should be anywhere, which makes sense, to be honest. I mean, it's inconsistent with what it is, but it makes sense that it's going to an R6.
But it would be an isolated
It would be.
rezoning
It would be.
in an
It would
area.
make more sense to zone the whole thing R6. I know that's,
That was
to do that request.
That was suggested to Mr. Pittard, that he talk to the residents of the neighborhood and develop or submit
That's what it is.
a larger petition that would cover all of the street. That Ms. Lasky suggested that to Mr. Pittard. I thought that was a reasonable suggestion by the planning department. He did not pursue that suggestion. So he moved forward with a request to rezone that one piece of property.
Okay, I think we'll go back, I think we're still on item 3. Consider a motion to deny the rezoning request. I don't think we have a motion on it. We have a motion now. We have a second to Councilman Lawson's motion. The motion was seconded by Mr. Bobby. Any more discussion on the matter? There being none, I'll call all those in favor of Councilman Lawson's motion, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed to the motion on the table, no. That motion will be approved by Councilman Lawson.
I do have a question related. Mr. Pittard wanted to come back and do the whole thing, or request the whole thing. He can do that at any time, right? Is that correct? To the arts, get other homeowners to do the whole block to R6. He can do that, I would think. I kind of know that answer, so thank you.
Especially in this case, because he would be expanding the petition, it would be considered in staff opinion a new petition.
Okay.
Next, we move on to item 8 under old business. The topic would be the continuation of deliberations concerning the issuance of a conditional use permit for an electronic gaming operation, i.e. internet cafe, 10 on Premier Landing. But just for informational purposes, the purpose of the conversation tonight would be, as we did not vote on this in our April meeting, we decided to come back and revisit for clarification of harmony tonight, the idea of harmony. And we need to stay on that subject. The vote was continued from the April meeting because the council wanted to get clarification on this issue. The public hearing has been conducted on this matter, and I have closed the public hearing. So we will not be open to further input on this issue as it stands tonight. So at this time, I will call again on Mr. Holland to come forward, and we can speak to him on harmony, and he can address us as so fit. But we do need to make sure that we stay on the issue of discussion about harmony. Mr. Holland?
Thank you, sir. Following your last meeting, the question had been posed to me as working on your staff in the absence of Ms. Lasky to provide a definition of harmony, which we had submitted to you, that harmony would include a finding or consideration of factors including but not being necessarily limited to conformity with the character of the neighborhood, considering location, type and height of proposed structure, noise impact, odor impact, existing uses within the area, adverse traffic impact, and injury to adjoining property. That is a basic, fairly textbook explanation of what is normally considered in the question of harmony in zoning deliberations. The city also, and has included in your zoning package, a second opinion of the question of harmony, which was obtained from David Owens from the Institute of Government in one of his publications. And I would say the Institute of Government is recognized as the seat of wisdom in North Carolina for local government and in particular zoning and planning issues. And that explanation states that in a court case that she cited, that inclusion of a particular use in the ordinance as one which is permitted under certain conditions is equivalent to a legislative finding that the prescribed use is one which is in harmony with other uses in the district, except for evidence that it is out of harmony. And that's the reason you have this as a internet cafe or sweepstakes facilities as special uses, is a recognition that one may desire to be located in a location which is out of character or out of harmony with that particular location, but might be perfectly acceptable somewhere else in the same zoning district. Let me stop there and be sure I haven't confused you with what I just said. So let me say that in one other word, that a internet cafe may be perfectly compatible within a zoning district in location A, but if it's in location B, it may not be in harmony. It may be next to a church or a park or a playground or a school or a use that would generally be incompatible with that particular use. So the question of harmony in this case is incompatibility with the adjacent or surrounding uses. We're not talking here about harmony in terms of architectural style, although that was one of the things I mentioned. We're largely talking about harmony being compatibility with uses in the immediate area of the proposed internet cafe.
Mr. Minister, would you care to add anything to the comments that Mr. Holland has given us?
Mayor, I think Mr. Holland has stated it absolutely correct, and, I mean, I could go back over and say the same thing he said, but he's stated the definition, generally accepted definition of harmony. And,
Well, I would ask.
and harmony, basically, and I guess Mr. Hall would agree with me on this, it's certainly stated in here. Harmony is basically presumed unless it's rebutted by other evidence.
I would ask the council if they have any questions, just reminding them that this is the issue that we need to adhere to, for the topic that we're speaking about.
Mr. Mayor, I have a motion that I want to make on this.
Okay, Councilman Scarborough has a
I
motion.
want to read it. This electronic gaming may be acceptable in other B4 I-1 locations, but I feel it is not in harmony at Lot 10 Premier Boulevard, Powell Center, Phase 2, because the proposed location is next to and less than 1,000 feet from the Roanoke Valley Chamber of Commerce and Tourism building facility. That facility serves the needs of all citizens and businesses in Halifax County, as well as out-of-state visitors, providing a library resource for the depository of materials, literature, and other information concerning Roanoke Rapids and Halifax County. And because of this, I move that we reject this request.
Mayor, point of order, please. I believe before Councilwoman Scarborough can do that, I think that there's got to be a motion to reopen the deliberations first. If no motion is made to reopen the deliberations, then that's the end of it. But there's got to be a motion made. If council wants to continue the deliberation, that motion's got to be made first, and not that Councilwoman Scarborough can't make that motion, but it's got to be a motion made to reopen the deliberations first. And if that motion is made, it's got to be seconded and then voted on and approved before we go further.
And if not, then, what was the last thing we did on the company?
We just continued it.
It was continued back in May,
Because we had the question.
March, excuse me,
Okay.
March 13th.
Does the vote from the last meeting stand, even though it's later continued?
Yes. Excuse me.
Okay. Then I would.
So just so I'm clear, so everybody here can be clear. If you don't vote to reopen the deliberations, then the action you take is stay.
At the previous meeting.
If you do vote to reopen it, it's seconded and it's approved by a majority, then you can continue the deliberation.
You've heard the comment from our city attorney. And do I hear a motion to reopen the deliberation and the voting of the two remaining issues at this time? Have a motion and a second. All those in favor of Councilman Lawson's motion signify by saying aye. Aye. And all opposed say no.
No.
I think it passes 3-2, 3 in favor and 2 against. Okay, so that motion will be carried. Then it would be appropriate to call, I believe, Ms. Scarborough for her motion. Ms. Scarborough, I call on you.
This electronic gaming may be acceptable in other B4 or I-1 locations, but I feel it is not in harmony at Lot 10, Premier Boulevard, Howard Center, Phase 2, because of the proposed location is next to and less than 1,000 feet from the Roanoke Valley Chamber of Commerce and Tourism building facility. That facility serves the needs of all citizens and businesses in Halifax County, as well as out-of-state visitors, providing a library resource for the depository of materials, literature, and other information concerning Roanoke Rapids and Halifax County.